Hi, my name is Ohki. For those of you who I have not met yet, my husband and I have been attending Central United Methodist for the last several months. We moved here from southern Indiana, where I worked as a hospital chaplain. I know we are going through some rough times right now with everything that's going on in the world. And so I thought I would do what I can do best, which is to help motivate and do little inspirational devotionals. So, here we go. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. I know this has become a very popular verse in the last several years, and people have it displayed on a lot of different things. I've seen it on pictures, on pillows, magnets, even t-shirts. People have it hanging up in their homes around in various rooms. And I will admit, it's one of my favorite verses, and it has been, and I hold it very close to my heart since I was a teenager. And it holds a lot of comfort, just knowing that God knows what's in store for us, and He plans to take care of us. But if you read the whole passage and not just that one verse, which is Jeremiah 29, starting in about verse 4 through verse 23, we see that it's not just one verse saying, hey, I've got plans for you, I know it's going to happen, and it's going to be good, and it's going to be okay in the end. But really that whole passage is a letter from God, written by the prophet Jeremiah to the people of Israel, who have been carried into exile at that point. They've been taken out of Jerusalem and carried into exile in Babylon. The people are very upset because they've been pulled away from their homes. They've been pulled away from their lives and their livelihoods. And over time, because of this, the fear of the unknown and the anxieties and all the stress has grown, and their sadness has grown. Their weariness has grown. And they wanted to return to their homes in Jerusalem. They wanted to leave Babylon and go back to the life that they had known. And so they prayed for the death of their captors so that this would be possible. However, God's response was not death, but rather one of life. God sent this love letter to His people of Israel, that God did not say to them, this is what I'm going to do. Instead, He told them to be patient. They would have their revenge. Instead, God told them to be happy and be prosperous and live there in Babylon, in exile, just as they would have lived in Jerusalem or anywhere else. And that being in exile was not the bad part, but the attitude that they were carrying about being in exile was what was hurting them. And they wanted to see their captors suffer as they were suffering, instead of seeing what God was giving to them. And the times that we're in right now, we kind of feel like we're in exile. We've been pulled away from our jobs and our worship and our fellowship with others and our socialization. We've been uprooted from the lives that we've known even just a month ago. We're kind of in that exile. We get grumbly. We get upset. But God is still saying to us, wait, I know what's ahead. I know what's coming down the line. And yes, right now, it's bad and it's bleak. But I'm at the other side waiting for you, and it's good here. If you just stop and instead of focus on the bad, instead of focus on the fact that we're stuck inside. We focus on the illness that's going around instead of focusing on those good things that are coming out of this. Not focusing on the finances that we might be losing or the tough situation that we're in. But instead focus on, hey, this is a time my family's together. I actually get to see my spouse or my kids. We don't have to run around. We have family game nights, family dinners together. We can spend time outside. It might be, hey, I can take this time to focus on me and maybe learn something new, such as I've always wanted to learn this new skill, like woodworking or crocheting, or maybe it's learning a new language. We can take this time now. It's a gift that God has given us. And that's basically what he was telling the people of Israel so many years ago, is instead of grumbling about the captors that are holding you away from the life that now seems like a dream, to look at what you do have and those good things that we do have. And that's what is going to prosper us and help us to grow. And it's not just going to affect us in the here and now, but it will affect us for generations to come. We are still so much like the people of Israel. We see ourselves not having everything that we want. We don't have that freedom right now to be able to go out and do what we want. But we know that this will end. And God tells us it will end. And maybe if we feel robbed of that life that we once had, and we feel like we just want to punish this time that we have and this disease and whatever it is that has caused it. We want our revenge for uprooting our lives. God says no. It will come to an end. You just have to trust me, and I will take you through this time. I will deliver you on the other side. But that takes trust. And as long as you do that, I will give you that hope and that joy and that prosperity. It might not look like what you had in mind, but it will happen. And I promise we can get through this together. It's what God is saying. What God has told us is we can get through this together. Thank you.